This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome and thank you for joining the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast. I am your host, Jenna, and before I go any further, I want to apologize if I sound a little sick today. I am currently trying to get over something which I thought and the doctors thought was bronchitis, but it hasn't quite gone away. So I actually just got back from the doctor and I'm waiting to hear some more results to hopefully find out what this sickness is. So like I said, I apologize if I don't sound completely like myself today. But like I said, my name is Jenna and I am a military spouse of 10 years, a health and fitness enthusiast, a mom, and a registered and certified dental assistant. Again, I want to thank you for being here with me today, and if you find that today's episode resonates with you or that someone else you know could benefit from hearing it, I highly encourage you guys to share it. Also, I love and appreciate any and all feedback, so if you would like to leave me some feedback, please feel free to email me at confessionsofamilspouse@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at Confessions of a Military Spouse or on Instagram at Confessions of a Milspouse, or on publichousemedia.org. Thank you all so much for being here with me today, as today is a huge day for Confessions of a Military Spouse, as it is our 1-year anniversary. Almost to the day a year ago, Confessions of a Military Spouse aired, and I just want to take a minute, first of all, to say thank you to Baxter with Public House Media and everyone else at Public House Media who has continued to help Confessions of a Military Spouse blossom and grow the way that it has. And most importantly, I want to thank all of my listeners who have made this dream of mine become a reality. Now, as you may or may not have noticed, Confessions of a Military Spouse took a week off from its regularly scheduled episodes. And today's episode will probably be really short and sweet, partly because I'm sick, but also because I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a life update and explain a few things to all of my listeners. Said, as you all know, as a military spouse, life can just be downright hard. And sometimes life can even come out of nowhere and basically knock you on your ass. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I tell you guys that the reintegration period and PCS time is no joke, like, I really and truly mean it. No matter how prepared you think you are for any of the changes that come with military life, one thing I found is that generally you're not as prepared as you think you are, and that's exactly what happened to me. Life got super, super overwhelming, kind of beyond the point of overwhelming, and I just needed some time to quote-unquote unplug. With that being said, that's exactly what I did. I took time to basically unplug and get my life in order. And you guys, to be 100% honest, it's been an extremely trying time, and it's still a work in progress every single day. But I've told myself that as long as I'm continuing to work at it, that's all that matters. And when I say I unplugged, I mean I pretty much took off of all social media. I wasn't really contacting anyone, including friends. I was pretty secluded, and it's not that I didn't have people reaching out to me during that time, because I definitely did, but I was choosing to seclude myself, and it was probably one of the best and worst things that I could have done. During that time, I definitely needed people and I needed friends, but I also didn't quote unquote want them. So my friends were there and people were there and everybody was offering to help and making sure I was okay, but I honestly wasn't really responding to them. But in doing that, not responding to them and not reaching out to them and not leaning on them for help, I was able to sort a lot of things out on my own, which was fantastic. And what I feel like is exactly what I needed to do. And since we're on this topic regarding this life update, one thing that I really want to talk about is the reintegration process. And I know that I have a whole episode about it, but going through the actual process is one thing that my husband and I have realized is how shitty the preparation for the process is. Yes, we and our spouses both get briefed on it. Our spouses that are active duty get briefed on it from the military side of it. But that's exactly what it is. It's the military side of it. And I'm not 100% sure what they tell them, but whatever it is, they tell them, and then it's not really talked about again. One thing that my husband and I did discuss is that there's plenty of talk and resources for single Marines coming back from deployment to make sure that they are reintegrated properly. And I'm sure that there are resources for married Marines and military personnel as well, but I don't know that I feel like there is enough of those resources that will allow them to make sure that they are integrated properly. And here's what I mean by that. So when my husband came home, he didn't have any days off right away. None. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's coming home. Like, how many days does he have off? Did you take off work? Like, no, we didn't do any of that. He had some half days, but it wasn't like he came home and then he had all these days off to be with his family and to figure out how to make things work at home, reintegrate himself to his family at home, et cetera, et cetera. He came home, he worked half days. I continued to work full time as if nothing had ever happened, and we basically muddled our way through it. Yes, they did get a 2-week leave block, but that was like weeks after they've come home. And, maybe there is a reasoning for that as to why they don't immediately get leave right after they come home. And maybe, that's something that's been proven to be quote unquote best for reintegration, but I honestly don't know that for sure. And that's something that I struggle with. Because for me, that doesn't seem like a very fair and, just reintegration period for them. Then there's the reintegration brief for the spouses. And let me just tell you guys, our brief was freaking awesome. We had an amazing speaker and she was totally spot on with everything she said. But being honest, I thought, I'm a seasoned spouse. Like, that's not going to apply to me. We've been through deployments before. It's fine. And as I said before, I don't think I was prepared as I thought I was. And after talking with other spouses, it seems that I'm not the first, and I certainly won't be the last to experience this, which makes me question, what do we do and how do we change this? Because one thing that I feel like is that while there is briefs and there is talk about reintegration, it's not in the depth that it needs to be in the way that it really affects people whenever they come home from deployment. Not just, the spouses that are here waiting for their loved ones to come home, but also the service member that's coming home. It's been said and probably proven that whenever our spouses are deployed, we here, the spouses that are staying behind, continue our life as normal. And so our life continues to move forward and it continues to move on. However, our spouses that are deployed, for them, they kind of have this thought process that their life at home is basically standing still. And so whenever they come home, they expect things to be the way they were whenever they left. And if you've ever experienced a deployment, you know that's not usually how it works. And so that's something that I feel like isn't really talked about and could definitely be changed. But I struggle with, how do you change it? And I know that I've talked to my good friend Tia before about having solutions to problems. And right now, unfortunately, I don't have all the answers. But what I do have is an opinion that may or may not mean anything. But I have an opinion that there could definitely be improvement to the reintegration process on both sides. And it's something that I really want to dive in and look at deeper and further and try to figure out, a better way to make the reintegration process better for everybody. Anyway, enough with all of that. Like I said, today's episode, I wanted to just be short and sweet because I wanted to give you all an update on where Confessions of a Military Spouse is at, and that things are truly getting better each and every day, and I know they will continue to do so. My husband and I are also preparing for a PCS to South Carolina, like really, really, really soon. So things around here are definitely about to get even more hectic, but as we all know, that's the military lifestyle, and I'm going to do my best to just roll with the punches and go with the flow. But if any of you know me, you know that's something that I struggle with. But we've decided to make an adventure out of the trip and enjoy the time off that we have with each other and our daughter, and make memories that will definitely last forever. Again, thank you all for being here with me today, and thank you for your continued support. Confessions of a Military Spouse will be back to its regularly scheduled episodes the first and third Tuesday of every month. And if you have any suggestions of episodes that you would like to hear about, or any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me and contact me one of the ways that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode.